How you going, guys? Thank you for asking me to speak today. Humble to be asked, really. I hope I can be relevant in some sort of form of the meaning of today. But anyway, it's basically a bit about me. It's my story. I'm a born and bred Cantabrian. Grew up in Linwood. Played rugby for Linwood, 12 years. Went to Shirley Boys High. I've always loved the concept of a bar where people can meet, drink, eat, sort of like a sense of community where people can just gather and just sort of talk about things. From the age of 21, I remember my dad telling me that he sort of just made a comment one day that he could see me actually building my own bar one day. So that was something that stuck in my head, and I was like, this could be a reality. So at the age of 26, I moved to Western Australia. At the time, the oil and gas industry was booming, and I was a qualified carpenter, so I thought I'd try and get amongst it. This was the first time in my life that I experienced or was introduced to depression in terms of knowing what it was. I was on a project for 5 years, and in 5 years, 9 guys that I knew of committed suicide on the job, in their rooms. So the isolation was a real thing. No one spoke about it. We didn't know, why or what was going on. But during this project, it's a lifetime, 5 years. You got to know the guys. There were 10,000 blokes. We developed this culture called IIF, and it was incident injury free. And it was a culture we all got together, and it was just about talking and looking after your mates. That was the biggest sort of the point. Was basically looking after your mates. So I'm going to be completely honest here and share a few stories about what sort of got the guys talking and how we got going. And one initiative was do water pumps actually work? And when I say water pumps, I'm talking about bath mates. Now a lot of you blokes might know what it means, but a bath mate is a penis pump. Now when you're on an island full of 10,000 blokes, no one really wants to talk about anything, but it's quite interesting that everyone wanted to talk about the size of their penis. So me being a bit of an entrepreneur, I thought, well, hang on, here's a moment for me. So I started selling these penis pumps. The word got out, and it was quite funny. I had blokes coming up to me that I'd never met saying to me, do they actually work? And next minute they were putting an order in. So I sold over 500 pumps. So out of 10,000 blokes, I thought that was pretty good going at 200 a pop. So it got quite got quite creative towards the end. Our toolboxes were big, and everyone was sharing stories, and all the blokes were talking, and like let's just talk about anything. Like let's not be shy. And this one bloke puts his hand up and goes, what did it say? Yeah, here we are. If I was having a threesome, true story, and my mate guides it back in with the back of his hand, is that okay? Meaning, I'm a bit worried if I'm, gay. And the IIF advisor at the time said, no, not at all, that's called looking after your mate. so that was a highlight for me in terms of like blokes looking after themselves. And there was a true culture that we developed on an island in the oil and gas industry where blokes started talking about everything, didn't matter what it was. So that's the message there. But anyway, after earthquakes, I came home. I wanted to basically fulfill my dream, and that was to build a bar. So in 2013, I was very fortunate. I bought an apartment in the old government building, which was in the Cathedral Square. And 2 years later, in 2015, I managed to take the lease out and start building my dream bar on the ground floor of the old government building, which then I named OGB. May the 5th, 2016, I opened OGB, almost 3 years ago now, so it's coming up our 3rd birthday. Following that, I built the Frederick Woodwards Barbershop and the Parlour Cocktail Bar, all just down the hall from OGB, so it's 2.5 years. It's been a learning curve for me. I tried to take over the world and do everything, but now it's sort of like time to consolidate and try and look after what I've got and what I've created. But I wanted to create an experience for the people of Christchurch because we'd lost so much heritage, and I love old school things. I love, I love tweed. I love cheese cutters. I love anything old school that represents Christchurch, and just wanted to bring some heritage and wanted to pour it back into Christchurch, literally pint by pint, just, saying g'day and getting people to come back into the city, somewhere where they could, just talk. So not even 3 years on now, I've taken on a business partner. So this means OGB Suites, which is the building, the dream of the building is a reality. So between us, we run 11 rooms in the building, which is boutique accommodation. So you can find it on Airbnb, booking.com, on our website, and that's to try and offer just more than just a bar, like the barber shop. It's an experience. During this period, I took on the space across the hall, which was the OGB restaurant. 18 months running that, but I soon realised that I thought construction was brutal, but hospitality is far more worse. It's a brutal industry, and it was going to take a lot more time and effort and energy to run a restaurant as well as a bar and everything else that was going on. I grew to over 60 staff, but now I'm down to just under 40, which is a manageable number. Just sort of how quickly things can grow. But then from that, realism really kicked in. I sort of thought, well, it's great having all this, building this empire, but the city's got to grow with it. And from there, it was kind of like, basically no one teaches you, how to do it. You just got to do it yourself. And it's exactly what's happened here with OGB. It's kind of like just grab a hammer and build a bar and see what happens, and that's what's happened there. So, but yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my story. So yeah, thank you.